All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I now call to order the January 13th, 2026 Board of Trustees meeting, time being 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Ms. Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Wiegand?
Here.
Trustee Cannon?
Here.
Trustee Daly?
Present.
Trustee Moyer? Trustee Teets?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason?
Here.
And Mayor Shosse. Mayor Pro Tem, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Do we have any amendments to the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Any conflicts of interest with the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Okay, now is the time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to comment on non-agenda items, please sign in on the sheet behind the podium and state your name clearly into the microphone. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to provide public comment.
Okay, I just typed it, so I'm just gonna read it if that just feels a lot red, because that's the only way this is gonna happen.
Yep, sounds great.
Okay. My name's Candace Joint. I'm a mother of 4 whom all I've raised here in Wellington. I've got 3 girls, 21, 20, 16, and a boy that is 13. Today, I'm asking the town ordinance regarding mini bikes be revised. I'd like the revised bill to allow gas-powered mini bikes and similar small vehicles to be ridden within city limits with strict regulations. As all of you know, the town has extremely limited activities for kiddos between the ages of 12 and 16. Some of these kiddos have found a passion in building and riding these mini bikes, creating their own little community, my son included. They aren't at the skate park smoking weed. They aren't out spray painting inappropriate images on mailboxes. They are in garages, strategizing, YouTubing, collaborating with parents, and learning life skills. In the last couple of months, I've spent countless hours building my son's mini bikes with him, and it has given me a much different perspective. These boys are doing amazing things, hard things, and then enjoying riding with their friends until the next bike's fix, which is generally every other day. So I want to let them ride with some strict rules in place for their safety and the safety of drivers, with support and collaboration from local law enforcement and the board. I think we can find a safe way for motorized and electric bikes to be ridden in town, not only for fun, but for transportation in some cases, whether it's to and from school, running local errands, picking up groceries, or simply getting to a friend's house because their parents are unavailable. I know that safety is everyone's top concern. I have a new driver on the road as well as a rider, so I'm coming from both sides. I believe such rules as required gear, off-limit roads, muffler silencers, no riding after dark, and/or headlights are a great start. The community is full of kids and adults riding everything from bikes to scooters and skateboards, all of which are dangerous on the roads to some extent. And let's be honest, the kids are going to ride. They always have, and they always will. It has been a problem for a very long time. So let's make it safe and provide some education and guidance to teach them a different level of responsibility. Let's continue to build a positive relationship with our officers instead of requiring officers to spend time pulling kids over who are just having fun, further straining their relationship. Changing this ordinance would also free up officers' time and redirect it to another main safety issue concern, which is the drivers, which I would love to hold them a little bit more accountable as well, not just the kids. I only had a short time to prepare this because the officer I spoke with was on Sunday night when my son and his buddies got pulled over for riding their bikes. He was the one who recommended I come in today and voice my opinion. He had said the boys weren't doing anything wrong. They were in full gear. They were riding appropriately. It was just the town ordinance. And he encouraged me to come in and speak up. I spoke with him several times, mentioned looking at other small towns that have already passed the ordinance. He informed me he is already doing that with his sergeant, I believe, specifically looking into Berthoud's rules and regulations for motorized vehicles being allowed in town limits. And that's all.
Thank you. Appreciate the comment. Any other public comment this evening? Seeing none. Okay, we'll roll right into the agenda. First thing on the agenda this evening is a presentation for the 2024 audit update and 2025 quarter three treasurer's report. Nick Redavid, finance director and town treasurer, will be presenting this item.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and trustees. I am Nick Redavid, Finance Director and Town Treasurer. Thank you for your time tonight. Tonight's presentation will begin with the town's auditor, Jim Hinkle of Hinkle and Company, who will provide an update on the audit of financial statements for fiscal year 2024. I'll then share a quick finance department update, and we'll move into reviewing the revenues and expenditures as compared to the adopted budget year to date that is reflected in the treasurer's report through the third quarter of fiscal year 2025. Thank you for the questions that were received in advance. I have included answers in the presentation and will be available following for any questions, any additional questions. I'd now like to invite Mr. Hinkle to the podium to address the board.
Good evening. My name is Jim Hinkle with Hinkle and Company CPAs, and we are in the middle of performing the annual audit of the financial statements for December 31st, 2024. We are not complete. We are really, really close. And I'll explain what we have left to do. We start off our audit with our updating our understanding of the town's internal accounting controls. We look at all of the cycles, the disbursement cycle, the receipt cycle, the revenue cycle separately. We're looking primarily for what we call a segregation of duties. A transaction typically takes 3 steps: the initiation, the approval, and the recording. And we do not want one person to do all 3 of those steps. We also are looking at what we call the control features of the cycles. And that are things like the approval of an invoice prior to payment, the approval of the account coding in the general ledger before posting to the general ledger. And then we go through the actual process of the audit. We test those control features with individual transactions to ensure that it is operating as intended and that those controls can be relied upon. We do that because we're looking for what we call a segregation of duties, significant deficiencies, or material weaknesses. And a significant deficiency is defined as a design flaw in the system of internal controls that could allow an error to go undetected in the ordinary course of business. And a material weakness in internal controls would be a significant deficiency that could result in a material misstatement to the financial statements. We did not find any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal controls. In addition to the financial statement audit, the town expended more than $1 million in federal award expenditures, which requires you to have what we call a single audit. That term refers to the external auditors auditing both the financial statements and compliance with federal awards in one single audit. We have completed that work, and we did not find any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in the internal controls with respect to federal awards. Our report will issue 2 additional audit opinions in the audit package that covers the single audit. The first is what we refer to in accordance with government auditing standards, and it looks at the town as a whole and asks for the question as to, does the town have the procedures in place to determine what federal award programs it receives and what the compliance requirements are. And then we note if we have any instances of noncompliance. Well, that sounds simple. A lot of federal dollars are passed through other organizations like the state of Colorado. Sometimes that's not quite as easy to figure out how much of the money is state money versus federal money, even though the state's supposed to tell everyone. The second report is referred to as in accordance with uniform guidance. And that's where we look at the specific major program that the town spent money on, and we drill down into that program specifically, and we test that program for compliance with all federal award programs. Both of those opinions will be unmodified or clean opinions, that you do have internal accounting controls in place, especially with that one program, and that we did not find any instances of noncompliance with any federal programs. So that is also the answers that you want to hear. The only thing we have left on the audit is, as we've gone through this last audit, we have learned a little bit in working with Nick. The town's normal accounting over the past number of years has treated what we refer to on the financial statements as deferred revenue as liabilities. These are monies that we have received from developers, impact fees, things like that, that are restricted revenues by nature. And those have, for some reason, have been historically reported as liabilities on the balance sheet. And they're really not liabilities. They are restricted fund balance. They are monies that is now in cash that are part of the town's fund balance, but they're restricted for a specific purpose that will be spent in future years. And so if you kind of envision your balance sheet and you got your assets on one side and the liabilities and equity on the other side, they need to be moved from the liability section down into the equity section or the fund balance section to be reported in accordance with general accepted accounting principles. We're making that adjustment. Once we finish that adjustment, we will have the financial statements finished. And excuse me, and your next meeting is in 2 weeks, I understand? Correct. I suspect that at this meeting coming up, you will have a full draft of the financial statements, including management's discussions and analysis, and potentially even a final version of that for presentation to you all and approval by you all. This change in the impact fees, the deferred revenues, has nothing to do with the day-to-day accounting. It's simply where those items are listed on the balance sheet. All the accounting of day-to-day transactions have been accounted for correctly, and we've not found any errors in the actual day-to-day accounting of the transactions of the town. So all in all, we're making really good progress. We're just about got the town caught up. Been talking with Nick about what the time is for us to start the 2025 year-end audit, and we're looking for probably the month of April to get that done. And both Nick and I believe strongly that we will have the audit finished in time in order to file with the state of Colorado by the July 31st deadline. So we've made really good progress. And this year we had the addition of the single audit, and we got through that in good shape. And no findings or question costs on the federal awards. Any questions?
Trustee Teets.
I do have a question really quick. In the moving of like the developer fees, tap fees, items like that, and we move that from that liabilities category over to that restricted funds, does it still have the same protections that are set up to make sure that when it pops up in a line item, it's not stating we have the funds available where it can be transferred and moved? I know previously we possibly had that issue come up where tap fees got moved from one account to another and then spent. Is there protections that protect this?
Yes. So your fund balance will have two different categories within it, the restricted fund balance and the unrestricted fund balance. And that restricted fund balance will have those protections that they can only be used for the restrictions that their purpose is. And by definition, restricted fund balances are those restrictions by outside parties that the town cannot change. If you had designated money that the town council said, well, we're going to put this money aside and I can uncommit that, those are committed funds or assigned funds that would then be presented differently than restricted funds. And then we'll also list what, like the restrictions for the cemetery or for a specific purpose on those financial statements. So yes, that will be protected.
Perfect. Thank you. That's my question.
Trustee Cannon. Trustee Wiegand. No questions. Trustee David.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I'll let you get back to more important things.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. As he said, we look forward to moving on from delayed audits in the very near future and have 2025's audit already in sight. So Quick finance department update. As usual, we are staying very busy in the finance department. Patty Lundy celebrated her 1 year mark as our controller this past September, and Flip and Carly will be doing so in the coming months as well. It's been very rewarding to build this team, and the consistency has had a tremendous impact on the organization with improved efficiency and strengthened financial oversight. Though 2025 is still close in the rearview mirror, we are also looking ahead to 2026 and beyond. The budget of fiscal year 2026 has been posted to the town's website, and budget books have been provided for board members. We've also been informed that the GFOA is currently reviewing the budget book for Distinguished Budget Presentation Award consideration as of this week. The board approved financial management policies went into effect on January 1st, and new signature authority summaries are in place for all departments as required. As we continue to review internal controls and work to be as transparent as possible, accounts payable processes have been updated to ensure compliance with accounting principles, and reporting to the board will be updated beginning January 2026 with the January 2026 reports in March. The department is continuing to provide support for the municipal utilities rate and fee study, and will be back with the board next Tuesday for the work session. The implementation of the new utility rates in April, rather than in January, will have a positive effect for residents that billing statements will only change once per year beginning in 2026, with rates, sewer volume usage charge adjustments based on winter quarter averages, and equal payment program true-ups all occurring at one time. Tentative meetings have been set for the Finance Advisory Board, ensuring that the obligation to strive to meet quarterly is met and that we are actively engaging residents in the town's financial management. However, I can confirm that the February date that's noted will change because the 16th is a holiday. The department is also currently working on 2025 year-end processes, such as 1099s, finalizing expenditures, and as I shared, preparing for an on-time audit. And the 2026 finance calendar was just completed, so we are already thinking about the budget development season for fiscal year 2027. Some other exciting upcoming projects and events include the 2026 economic forecast presented by BizWest on Thursday, January 15th, a new long-term revenue forecasting tool for the general fund that will be rolled out in conjunction with our municipal advisor, Troy Bernberg, and a year-long overhaul of the department's standard operating procedures, forms, and resources in alignment with the new financial management policies. Prior to moving into the treasurer's report, as always, I'll start by reminding everyone that governmental accounting standards allow for prior period adjustments, and as such, there may be differences in this report that were not contained in previous versions. These standards ensure that financial statements present a true and fair view of the town's financial position and performance at the time the report is generated. Governmental accounting follows modified accrual basis of accounting, meaning we record revenue when it is available to spend and expenses when the obligation occurs. The information provided tonight comes from financial reports generated on January 5th for the third quarter of 2025, with revenue and expenditures dated through September 30th, 2025. Operating revenues for the first 75% of the year were ahead of pace in the general fund, primarily due to payment of delayed property taxes and strong sales tax revenue. Of the $7.9 million in general fund revenue, $2.4 million was for previous years. Much like the treasurer's report, 2024 end-of-year presentation in April of last year reflected property taxes and the general fund being significantly under budget due to the delayed property taxes. Since they were paid to the town this year, it does have a positive impact on revenue in 2025 reporting. Property tax revenue for 2025 specifically was budgeted to be $2.1 million, and the revenue has slightly exceeded budget by nearly 3%, or $63,000. Street fund revenues at the end of the third quarter are also trending positively. While operating revenue is behind pace in the water, sewer, drainage, and park funds, much of the difference is being offset by operating expenditures that are also coming in under budget. We are continuing to see a large impact in tap fees and developer contributions under budget across these funds due to the slowdown in development. However, investment earnings remain strong across all funds, averaging 152% of budgeted revenue. Operating expenditures remain under budget year to date, with the exception of the drainage fund, in which the annual payment to the Box Elder Basin Regional Stormwater Authority, which is the fund's single largest operating expense, occurred in the second quarter. One of the water fund's largest operating expenses, the annual payment to North Poudre Irrigation Company, will take place in the fourth quarter. It's budgeted for $2.9 million in 2025, and I can confirm the payment was made in November for $1.06 million. While user fee revenue in the water fund is at 95% of budget, there will be meaningful savings in the fund due to the NPIC payment being significantly under budget. Wages and salaries across all departments are 5 to 10% under budget on average as of September, though that gap will continue to shrink as vacant positions have been filled, such as the third quarter hire of a business development manager. Excuse me. Now that we've reviewed revenues and expenditures, let's look at how these numbers break down by category. Operating revenues as of September 30th are expanded here to represent the composition of the town's governmental funds, general, street, and park, much like the consolidated financial schedule introduced in the budget of fiscal year 2026. As you'll see in the next slide, sales tax revenue is still strong and on pace to meet or exceed budget in 2025, impacting each of the funds as the split of the town's 3% sales tax is 2% to the general fund and 1% to the street and park funds, which receive 55% and 45% respectively. I'd also like to highlight that the recreation program fees are doing very well this year, exceeding expected revenue by over 50%. Third quarter sales tax continues to trend positively as compared to the previous 2 years, with a strong performance of 8.7% growth year to date. These amounts are sales tax revenue generated in retail stores that have taken place through September 30th. These funds are issued to the town 2 months after the sales occur, meaning September sales tax revenue shown was received in November and will appear on the treasurer's report that will be provided in the packet for the next Board of Trustees regular meeting. The budget of fiscal year 2025 projected a 5% decrease in sales tax revenue year over year. Yet we are continuing to see the trends indicate that retail sales remain stable, especially with businesses that deliver products to Wellington. Operating expenditures in each of the governmental funds is broken down by department in this chart as of September 30th. All departments are operating under budget year to date, and the Larimer County Sheriff's Office contract has been paid through 75% of the year, with one final $534,000 payment remaining in the fourth quarter. Each of these departments' leadership and staff work diligently to manage projects and individual expenses for the town. And I'm happy to share that we've given them additional tools in recent months to make this easier. With the introduction of Cassell Connect Online, a tool included with our existing contract with Cassell at no additional cost, Finance has the ability to grant access for unlimited staff profiles to monitor general ledger activity, accounts payable, and more. In rolling out this resource, we were able to reduce the number of licenses needed for full Cassell access, resulting in cost savings for the town, and we were able to remove access of several non-finance related individuals from the CORA system, also improving security and controls. Finally, the budget performance summary for the third quarter of 2025 shows that the year is on track to overall meet expectations. The net revenue over expenditures in total, including debt service payments and capital project expenditures not funded by loans, as of September 30th, shows a positive net revenue over expenditures year to date, which even remains positive when adjusting general fund revenue by removing property tax revenue from previous years. Budgeted expenses remaining this year include the previous mentioned final quarterly payment for the LCSO contract, the NPIC payment, and transfers to the water and sewer funds. With 100% of annual debt service payments already made in the water and sewer funds, and with additional user fee revenue still to come in the fourth quarter, I do expect that the budgeted 2025 net revenue over expenses in the water fund of 48,000 and the budgeted net revenue over expenses fund balance spending in the sewer fund will be reduced. And once the debt service payments are made in the park fund during the fourth quarter, the loan for the Wellington Community Park will be paid in full. So, thank you again for your time tonight and for your continued support. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Redavid. I'll open it up for questions from the board. Trustee Teets.
Thank you for answering my questions. I'm impressed, as typical with a lot of your performance, so I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you.
Trustee Cannon.
You're doing a great job, Mr. Redavid, and hats off to you and for Patty for hiring you. And I'm so happy that we are this close to getting our audits up to date and up to speed. I wanted to ask him a question. You think like the next 2 weeks we'll have it finished or something like
Yes.
that? Because I would love to have that put to bed and behind us. Because to me that's a big point that in the past 2 years we've been able to catch up on all of our missed financials that happened over the previous 4 years. So good work, a lot of attention to detail. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Trustee Wiegand.
Want to thank you so much. It's amazing how efficient this town does operate. I know sometimes we get some bad raps here, but looking at how the administration and all the way down, you guys are doing a fantastic job. So just really appreciate it. Thank you.
Trustee Daly.
No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Redavid, really appreciate all the work that you've done as well as Deputy Town Administrator Ms. Hodling. Really wish you guys a lot of luck on getting the GFOA award this year. I have full confidence that you guys will get that. And I just want to thank the rest of the staff and the leadership team as far as that goes and getting all these things done. This has got to be the best budget I've seen in the last 4 years by far. So much thanks to you guys and appreciate all the work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move right along to the consent agenda. Ms. Clerk, can you please read the title of the items on the consent agenda?
December 9th, 2025 meeting minutes, resolution number 01-2026, designating a public place for posting of notices concerning public meetings, and resolution number 02-2026, approving a 3-mile plan for municipal annexations.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Do I hear a motion on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Ms. Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Teets?
Yes.
Trustee Wiegand?
Yes.
Trustee Cannon?
Yes.
Trustee Daly?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mason?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem, that motion passes.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. All right. Board reports, or let's see, town administrative reports are in the packet. And so we'll just, let's see, roll on to the town attorney. Mr. Scott, do you have anything for us this evening? Understood. Thank you, Mr. Scott. We do not have our town administrator tonight. Ms. Clerk, did you have anything on the town administrator's behalf?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We do not, but we'd be happy to take any questions and pass them along to Ms. Garcia if you'd like.
Seeing none, all the staff communications are in the packet this evening, and we'll go into board reports. Trustee Teets.
Just stemming off of public comment that came earlier, addressing the motorcycles and e-bikes, e-scooters. I know there is some flexibility when it comes to the e-scooters. I know there is almost no flexibility when it comes to gas powered. I have been all for seeing golf carts cruise around our community. So if it is a possibility that we can agree or encourage to agree that we start looking into what Berthoud has approved regarding some of their regulations. If we have any reports that come back that are of benefit or future education from LCSO themselves on what we can do to possibly work with them instead of against these kiddos. I'm going to be honest saying I am that kid that grew up on a motorbike cruising around all of the streets. So I understand, and it's exceedingly difficult, but I realize there's rules. But if we can make some of these rules work with instead of against, then we're seeing less kiddos popping up in our courtroom and more kiddos working alongside trying to figure out how to do this successfully. So if that's something you guys would agree to, I would like to see possibly more information on how we can look at the ordinance or make it safer, but more workable with kids.
Thank you, Trustee Teets. Trustee Cannon.
Just one thing. This Friday, I have a CML Policy Committee meeting. It's a virtual meeting, so I don't have to drive all the way down to Denver, which is great because I have to meet with the senior citizens here in the Leaper Center at 11 o'clock. So should all be done by then, but I will keep you advised of what the legislative session is doing. And I did point out to Patty, and I believe there is a legislative workshop coming up in Denver. This is an all-day event. I've attended those many times. It's a great way to meet others from other communities. It's a good idea. It's a great way to also get on top of, what the legislative agenda is for our politicians at the state level. Anyway, and it's usually attended by the governor, and it's a very informative meeting, and I enjoy going to those things. So I'll keep you advised.
Wonderful. Thank you, Trustee Cannon. Trustee Wiegand.
Thank you. I was at the Larimer County Behavioral Health meeting this last week, and they had a couple good things there. One thing, they wanted to make sure that Wellington and everybody knows the Longview campus is for everybody. It's a resource for everybody. It helps people in distress, mental problems, all that type of stuff. And I know it's a little bit out of our way, but it is there. It's a great facility. Also, too, they were mentioning that they do have a traveling exhibit that we might possibly want to think about. It's called Be Mindful, It Matters. It's a community-inspired collaboration mental health exhibit. It needs about 600 square feet to do it. It's about a 3-week thing where they set it up. I know there's places like they'll do it at a library, at a community college, that type of stuff, maybe even a local high school. So that would probably be something. And I know you have discussed interest in having some more mental health help out here. So I think that would be a great program for here. So if you guys, that's something we probably should bring up, and I can contact a person over there to try to get it arranged. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Wiegand. Let's get you in touch with Administrator Garcia on that and see if we can have something happen up here with that. Trustee Daly.
Most recently, I have been, and I'm nearing the end of graduation for the Municipal Leadership Academy. As a reminder, it's been about an 8-month program where I spend multiple days a month with a specific cohort, and we go over specific topics. The one for this month was related to urban planning and just planning in general. We were involved in a experiment that was created by Berkeley regarding urban planning. And we were given a specific scenario, community, goals, RFP. We act as developers in order to create a plan in order to create a new community that had been ravaged by fires. So that's essentially what the task was. So we worked in groups to create our new towns, our new identities. And then we were graded by a city council, essentially. So for them to pick which developer, which response to the RFP for them to select. It was incredibly fulfilling. It was incredibly challenging as well. It came with an entire financial model, which allowed us to understand the returns to the developer, as well as the absorption rate, how long it would take to fill the buildings and commercial properties and those kind of things, as well as the return to the town within a 10-year turnaround time. It was incredibly informative, really opened my eyes, makes me respect our developer community so much more to understand how complex their plans have to be in order to meet their bottom line as well as to serve our community. So I definitely came back with that respect as well as understanding of preferences and working with the city council because they were planners playing city council. So there was a lot of interesting comments and tasks that probably wouldn't come up normally when speaking just directly with the planning staff. So it was really encouraging. I'm really loving this training program, this leadership academy, and I would encourage everyone else to maybe consider doing it in the future as well. It's definitely a huge time commitment, but well worth it between economic development and all the other topics that we've gone over. So that was super fulfilling. I just did that this last week. Other than that, I want to give an update for all of the committees that I work as a liaison to, specifically PROST and the Main Streets program. Right now seems kind of like a dead time when it comes to events and those kind of things, but these groups are working their butts off right now for planning all of these events as soon as Easter, St. Patty's Day, 4th of July. They are thick in planning for these events already and coordinating with the town, with other nonprofits, and so on to make sure that we have a wonderful experience this next year. So I'm really excited about that. And I got to talk to the Legion today as well, and they're thick in planning with the town. Everybody's coordinating to do the best to serve Wellington. And then additionally for we passed the budget. I think I've gave the update for the Affordable Housing Authority. And we're having our annual celebration upcoming in February. And then otherwise we'll be meeting again and looking for some new opportunities to increase affordable housing opportunities in the town of Wellington. So I've been busy, but all those groups are much busier. So I wanted to say thank you to them for their efforts already in planning for these wonderful events.
Awesome. Thank you, Trustee Daly, for that update. Let's see. The Larimer County Opioid Abatement Council does not meet until the end of this month, so I have no report this evening. And as far as that goes, I just want to thank all you guys for all the tough work, especially getting through the budget cycle and all these things over the last couple months. So really appreciate all the work that y'all have done for us. So having no further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn? All
Second.
Voice counts for a reason.
Well, this is a good question. We've got a whole bunch of scouts in the audience this evening. If you guys have, I wasn't sure if you guys had anything you wanted to say, or if you were just here to observe as far as that goes.
Hi, trustees. Tyler James with Troop 188. These scouts are here tonight because they are earning their Citizen of the Community Merit Badge, and that's Eagle requirement. Yeah, so one of their tasks was to observe your meeting and to pick a topic that was discussed, although there was not a lot of public comment. So looks like they're going to e-bikes for their discussion. But this was part of their discussion, and they're going to take it back and hopefully meet with some town officials as well. And then they present to their scout leader on an issue affecting the community and some ideas. And so thanks for having us, and we'll see. Do you guys want to say anything?
Thank you for having us. It's really nice to be here.
Yeah. So we got Troop 188 and Troop 83.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming down, and good luck on those merit badges. I was a scout when I was growing up personally, so wish you guys the best of luck and all that, and keep up the good work. So appreciate the commitment to the community as far as that goes. So thank you.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Second.
Yay.
Aye. Okay. I now adjourn the regular meeting, time being 7:10 p.m.